From the big man Rakesh Jhunjhunwala on how to pick the right stocks in this market, and that of course is an exclusive to CNBC TV 18.
You want to have good returns. See, don't try to emphasize too much on don't have analysis paralysis. Don't try to be too specific. Rather than trying to predict the profits, try and understand the factors which create the profits. Because profit is created by a certain set of circumstances. Right? And I think in those, the first factor I look at is the opportunity. How large is the opportunity for any business? Let us say I got Praj, and we thought there is going to be humongous demand for ethanol plants. Right? So the opportunity was huge. It was not recognized. So that's why I got Praj. Look at Infosys. Infosys could become Infosys because of the creation of the internet and the extreme explosion in the application of information technology, for which Infosys in '93 nobody knew. But just because the opportunity went through the roof. Or look at Colgate. Whenever you do a list of Colgate, you look at the number of the growth of the toothpaste market in India. So I think without opportunity there can be no profit. That's the first thing I examine. Then I look at competitive ability. In a capitalist society, you can't guard an opportunity unless you're efficient. And this opportunity can come, this competitivity can come through technology, through marketing, through brands, through location, through tariff protection, through capital, right? Then I look at the scalability. A friend of mine asked me, Rakesh, should I invest in small cap or large cap? I said, boss, let's invest in the small caps which are going to be the large caps. And the biggest challenge, especially in unlisted investing, is to recognize that does this organization have the ability to scale? For example, suppose I invest in Pagboon when it had two big bazaars. I had to ask my question that can they make 150 big bazaars? Right? And then operating leverage and various other factors. Of course, it's important what I buy, it's more important what price we buy. So the last thing which I examined very, very closely is am I getting, how I take a decision is, I project at 4 years, 5 years, I try and understand the factors that drive the profits. Plus minus 25-30%, I try and project what kind of profit growth you can have in the next 4 5 years. And what kind of price earning ratios you can have. And therefore what kind of valuation you can have. If I find a very, very big difference in the valuation of what I have today and what I can have 4 5 years later, that's when I invest. Of course, I reserve the right to be wrong, and I have been many times. Then I do a constant re-examination of the business model, capital allocation and capital structure. Because the business models can undergo change. Titan may be a market leader and watches tomorrow, intense competition could emerge. So you have to constantly examine that the opinion or the set of assumptions under which you make the investment are valid or not. Also, experience has taught me I want to examine how are companies allocating capital well, are they distributing profits well, are they using the surpluses in the right manner? And for me, quarters don't matter. Because there can be aberration in quarters. If a company has very high profit in a quarter, also examine what are the reasons, are they relevant, are they sustainable? If a company performs badly, also I try to examine. So I think instead of trying to be influenced by just a quarter's performance, we got to examine the reasons. I think in any and every environment, choice of an asset class, I can't, emphasize this greater, governs the portfolio returns along with the time-tested realistic expectations of value invest. And this choice of asset class I'll explain to you. Suppose in 1970 you had bought gold. In 1980 you sold the gold and you bought the Nikkei. In 1989 you sold the Nikkei and you bought the Nasdaq. Your returns would have been 33% compounded for 3 decades. Mr. Buffett's returns are only 21%. See, that is how important the choice of an asset class is. Right? And I think value investing is relevant in all circumstances, in all environments. I think to be good investors, what I think is that you have to establish your thought process and principles. Remember, they are dynamic and not static. So be open to change. Never forget that the quest to be a good investor is a journey and not a destination. Right? And one thing which is very important is don't get carried away by the short-term market aberrations. I remember in '99, people used to buy Himachal, Global, Pentasoft. I used to buy Shipping Corporation, Bharat Electronics, Bharat Earthmovers, and Shipping Corporation goes from 20 to 24. I was very elated. And people would tell me, you're not our stock, you have 20% a day. What are you buying all this crap? Right? So never be carried away by all these aberrations. Recognize them, respect them, and remember markets correct aberrations. It may take time.